And a very good Saturday morning to you and yours. Welcome to the Sports Issue here on your sports leader, 1320 KOZY. I'm Joe Gigliotti. Happy Saturday to you. And for the first time in a few weeks, I'm joined by a co-host across from me. Is it Sean or Shane or
Hi, Joe.
Sheldon?
Yeah, you got it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How strange does it feel to not be covering Grand Rapids hockey this weekend?
It's very, very odd. There, it feels. There, I need to. There we go. Was just checking the video screen.
How's it looking?
It looks like we have a video screen.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we like that.
And good to have you back in the friendly confines. And yes, a rare weekend without Grand Rapids hockey. You mentioned it to me. It's kind of like they've had a bantam schedule up until this point.
Yes, and now playing some northern Minnesota schools, and now they end up getting Tuesday, Thursday last week, and I believe Tuesday, Thursday this next week as well.
Correct. Yes, Cloquet and Hibbing on the schedule this coming week. Rapids falling to Hermantown and Duluth East earlier in the week. Coming up on today's show, we'll be joined in studio by Grand Rapids Wrestling at about 8:30. Looking forward to that chat. They've had a lot going on, Sheldon.
They have, and Kellen Schauer hitting some milestones in his wrestling career, and Kellen's walking in. He's early.
Oh, right on cue.
Right on cue. Have a seat, sir.
Way to go.
And, we'll wait for your compatriots here in a little bit, but.
Sounds good.
The coffee's fresh and the water's cold, so either way.
And later on, about 9:30, we'll be joined by Deer River Boys basketball in studio. So here's how it went. I asked Coach Williams if they'd like to be guests on the Sports Issue. He said, I have prior commitments. And I said, okay, well, can you send us a few players?
Right.
He said, I'll check. I'll check, yeah. Late yesterday, I get an email that said, I'll be there. So I'm not exactly sure who to expect.
But someone representing Deer River basketball will be here.
You got it. So that'll be 9:30. Let's see. Last night, you were on the call for some Grand Rapids basketball against East Grand Forks. And joining you for the broadcast, was Tom Downing trying to find a hockey rink and he got lost? Or?
Pretty much. He took a wrong turn. He forgot to stop there at the IRA. And he left the hockey stick in his trunk. So I showed him what a basketball score sheet looked like. He said, let's give it a try.
Huh. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, nice to have Tom Downing on the call for you last night, getting his basketball sneakers wet, if you will. Yeah, later on in the year, we may be a little short-handed, so we're teaching Tom the ins and outs of basketball.
He got a crash course last night, but it was good.
And Grand Rapids taking on the Green Wave of East Grand Forks. I don't know that we've had an East Grand Forks game on the air in recent memory.
I do not believe so, and yeah, an interesting logo, an interesting, team name. I don't know, the Green Wave.
We thought
it sounds rather disgusting to me. A whole bunch of algae washing up on the beach. That's all it is.
Someone should really check on the water in East Grand Forks. But yeah, Grand Rapids. We thought maybe this would be they would kind of cruise to victory in this one, taking on a Double-A team. But what did the Green Wave throw a zone defense at Rapids?
They did. And I don't know if that's their normal defense or if they love to play that, or if they're playing it because they were shorthanded. Two of their starters were down with injury. One will be gone for the year, the other for a couple weeks. So it was a shorthanded Green Wave team, and yet they were gritty. They played hard. They bothered Grand Rapids with that zone. Grand Rapids needing to shoot over it, and shooting was streaky. We'll just put it that way. Grand Rapids would hit some threes and look like they were pulling away, and then East Grand Forks wanted to push the ball. They went quick off of every transition, and were able to get some easier buckets in transition and battle the Thunderhawks about even on the boards. And kept it close.
And they even had a lead in the second half at 33-31, but Grand Rapids does hang on for the 70-61 victory over the Green Wave last night. And let's learn more.
Girls basketball action on a Friday night from the Grand Rapids gym as the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks get their record to 10-5 with a 70-61 win over the Green Wave of East Grand Forks. Grand Rapids out to a quick 8-0 lead as they were dropping threes over the East Grand Forks zone. East Grand Forks would kind of hold it there the rest of the half, and Grand Rapids led 25-18 at halftime. East Grand Forks came out with a little fire in the second half and actually took the lead at 33-31 about 5 minutes into the half. Torgerson, little ball fake, goes in, lays it home, and the Green Wave up 33-31. Grand Rapids running off a 9-0 run to retake a lead they would never relinquish. Finds Taryn Hamling, now back to Wachnick, back to Beachley, who lays it home. East Grand Forks would cut it to a 3-point game late at 61-58, and Grand Rapids then pulling away for a 70-61 victory. Top point getter for the Thunderhawks, Maya Roberts with 21, 20 for Hannah DeMars, 10 for Mira Beachley, 9 for Liberty Blaine, 5 for Taryn Hamling, and 2 for Megan Denny. Emily Wachnick chipping in with a three-pointer. For the Green Wave, they were led by McKenna Aitchison with 19 points, 14 for Caden Melquist, and 10 for Brianna Olson. The Thunderhawks, a 9-point win over East Grand Forks, 70-61. From the Grand Rapids gym, I'm Sheldon Willis.
And after the game, Sheldon caught up with Megan Denny and Maddie McKinney.
Joined on our post-game interview by two willing participants, Megan Denny and Maddie McKinney. They didn't have to drag you over here, Megan.
No, they actually didn't.
there were threats before the game, right?
Yeah, there was.
Maddie, let's talk about the basketball game. This was one where maybe, I don't know, did you feel like it was going to be easier before the game started than what it turned out to be? Did East Grand Forks show a little more than you expected?
Yeah, I just think we weren't prepared for it. I don't know.
And they came out in that zone, were forcing all the shots from the outside early, Megan. Was that something you struggled against a little bit in the first half?
A little bit. We worked on our zones yesterday, but for some reason our shots just weren't falling today with it that well. But second half they picked up.
And second half, it looked like the intensity on both teams picked up. Maddie, what was one of the keys to keeping the lead or getting the lead back after they took a short-lived lead?
I just think keeping with it.
Don't be scared of the mic.
Staying with every ball, I guess. I don't know, working together. I feel like that just improved in the second half.
And it looked like the ball movement got a lot better in the second half for the Thunderhawks, Megan, that the passes were a lot more crisp and there were some better shots out there.
Yeah, our halftime talk, we got a little bit yelled at too. Better passes, quicker passes, know who you're passing to.
And move without the ball a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I saw some of that going on. If you'd be the coach, Maddie, what grade would you give this game? What grade would you give the Thunderhawks game tonight?
Out of what?
A grade like A to F, like you get in school.
Probably a low B.
A low B, okay. So a passing grade tonight. You get another win. Do you know what's coming up next, or you just let the coach worry about that, Megan?
Our next game is down in the cities. We play it's the MLK tournament.
Okay.
So we play down there.
Good luck down, and then that means you got some practice time next week, right?
Well, we could practice.
Okay. Well, do you get run pretty hard when that happens?
I think this week we will.
This week you will. Okay. Good win tonight. Good luck.
Thank you.
And that'll be against Minneapolis Washburn next Saturday at that tournament. And speaking of odd logos, Sheldon, check out the Washburn logo. Looks like
really?
Looks like a chef or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do not know what Minneapolis Washburn is even called.
Let's see. They are the Millers.
The Millers. Okay, so it's someone working with flour, making flour.
And Grand Rapids starting to find their mojo after a few tough losses to some good competition over the holidays. Rapids has now won 4 straight, playing pretty well, looks like.
Yeah, they certainly are playing well. And those 3 losses all by 20-plus points down at St. Olaf. But again, if you listen to the Chris Hamling pregame interview, against the very top teams in the state of Minnesota in 4A.
And again, next up for Rapids, Minneapolis Washburn next Saturday.
Easy for you to say.
Exactly.
Not quite.
We'll take a quick break here on the Sports Issue. We'll come back with some other area basketball from last night. Grand Rapids Wrestling in about 12 minutes. 13:20 KUZY.
Kick off the new year with the dollar sale at Super One Foods. Bone-in fryer chicken breast, $1 per pound family pack. Fresh and natural Smithfield bone-in country-style ribs, only $1 a pound family pack. 12 to 14 ounce Fresh Express coleslaw, iceberg garden salad, or 8 ounce Fresh Express lettuce shreds, $1 each. Green Giant mini carrots, 1 pound bag, only $1. Make sure you stop by the Hot Bar, Salad Bar, and Olive Bar for something fresh and new every day. Super One Foods, proud to be a part of your community.
If your windows stick, slip, squeak, or leak, replace them with Andersen windows. With low E-glass, low maintenance exteriors, and rich wood interiors, standard and custom sizes, they can turn simple window replacement into serious home improvement.
Stop and see Derek, your Andersen window specialist at Andersen Glass, Grand Rapids.
Today, we're talking with
Andy Klocko.
And I'm Tasha Klocko.
We own and operate Klocko Brewing Company. We, first and foremost, brew beer.
the Clock Owls are customers of Woodland Bank.
Woodland, to us, came very highly recommended from multiple people in the community and kind of hit it off with everyone right away and sort of felt like the right thing.
They said choosing to do business in Grand Rapids was an easy choice.
I'm originally from Grand Rapids, born and raised, and when we decided to start our family, every time we talked about opening a brewery, we always would say, oh, well, Grand Rapids doesn't have one yet.
The Clock Owls use multiple services at Woodland Bank.
We use business checking, loan services, SASA, and the Saver account. Brian's kind of made it clear that it's a partnership from the beginning. First meetup with him and Wayne, it was just very, very clear that, hey, this is an open and honest thing. We want to help you because if you succeed, we succeed.
Woodland Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
That's the Woodland way.
So some people are asking, what's this warranty for life business? Hey, Max here from Donlier Ford, and here's the deal. We are giving you a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new and qualified used vehicles. This means engines, transmissions, transfer cases, all the expensive stuff is covered. Plus, you get roadside assistance for 10 years. We're talking towing, service loaners, jump starts, lockout, gas, battery, water, flat tires, you name it. That's how Donlier's lowers the cost on your next new ride. You always get more for your money at Donlier Ford under the big American flag in Rapids.
Northern Pines Orthopedic Clinic has been providing orthopedic services to the region for over 30 years. They are providers for most insurance companies, including the St. Luke's Network. They provide non-operative and operative management of injuries and fractures, repetitive work and sports-related injuries, and chronic conditions such as arthritis. Dr. Baker and Jeff Temple accept walk-in appointments for acute orthopedic injuries Monday through Friday from 8 till 4. Call 326-6677. Northern Pines Orthopedic Clinic, getting you back to the sport of life.
And welcome back to the Sports Issue here on 1320 KOZY, live streaming audio and video at KOZYradio.com. Our weather forecast calls for scattered snow showers off and on today, temperature steady in the low 20s. Tomorrow, cloudy, low of 16. Tonight, low of 16. Tomorrow, cloudy and a high near 28. Monday, mostly cloudy, 29. And then Tuesday, more clouds, 25. Right now, 22 and cloudy with some light snow. Our time is 8:22. How about that? 22 degrees and 22 after 8.
Just like that. Well, if it'd be 2:22 in the morning, no one would be listening, but it would be all twos.
You don't think our audience would either get up or stay up at 2:22 in the morning and listen?
Trust me, we wouldn't have wrestling on the air.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Other girls basketball you wanted to highlight from last night?
I was looking through girls basketball. Now I can't remember anything.
All right.
It's been a long morning already. I saw Proctor taking down Cherry. That was a close game at halftime, and then Proctor ran away with it, 69-48. And Roseau continues to roll, 80-57 over Pequot Lakes. Crookston over Virginia, 53-42. They play East Grand Forks this afternoon in one of those couple tight games, right? Esco over Floodwood, 60-19, and Hibbing over Thief River Falls, 62-29.
Ouchie.
Yeah, not a lot of scoring in those. I know Hill City Northland played last night, and I don't know if I have a score on that one.
Alrighty. Let's see. On the boys' side, we had high school ball on the FM. It was Big Fork taking on Hill City. And let's get a recap of the Big Fork Husky victory from David Moody. David.
With your post-game wrap-up of Hill City Hornet versus Big Fork Husky boys basketball, David Moody reporting. It was an entertaining game, one that the Big Fork Huskies ultimately would win 66-50. They also led at the half 39-22, but doesn't paint the whole picture, especially for the first half of the first half. Back and forth affair. It was 17-all, and then Big Fork made a switch to man-to-man defense, and that's really when they went on a big run, 14-1, and then they never looked back. The Big Fork Huskies had a big night tonight from their star player, Carter Cook. It was his 18th birthday tonight. Knocked down, I think it was 6 3-pointers. Also had a slam dunk in there to have 27 points on the night. Elhart wanted to pass it to Cook, but a good defense by Johnson forced him to change plans. Now gets it to Cook, and the dunk! He drives baseline through 2 defenders and slams it home.
There you go. You've been waiting for that, David.
Also scoring for the Big Fork Huskies, 14 from Ben Heinley. And Jared Lovedahl, he had a remarkable night, hustling, good two-way player, 16 points for the Huskies. Haugen stepped up on him. Forced Myers into the lane. Then he kicked it out to Lovedahl, who buries the three. It's exactly what you would have wanted for the Huskies. Meanwhile, for the Hornets, they ended up having a good night from their big man down low, Jonathan Gowell. He had 20 points. Working at baseline. Haugen, great pass. Drew the defense behind the shoulder pass, and then Gowell able to score. They also got some scoring from Christian Haugen, 12 points, but their biggest issue, they were moving the ball well, but they were missing their open shots, and then they struggled with a full court press by the Big Fork Huskies and weren't able to close the distance enough to make this thing real close to the wire. But very entertaining nonetheless, and the Hornets only had one senior, a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen. They got good years to come. So once again, final score, Big Fork Huskies take care of business on the road, beating up the Hill City Hornets 66-50. That's the wrap-up. David Moody reporting.
And we'll hang on to David for just a moment because after the game, he caught up with Carter Cook and Jared Lovedahl.
We're going to first talk to, I just found out, the birthday boy, Carter Cook, 18 years old today, put up 27 points. I mean, you had a remarkable game here tonight. Is it because it's your birthday? I mean, you're always shooting hot, but I mean, it's got to be nice to do well on your birthday, huh?
Yeah, it is.
So, what did you see from the Hill City Hornets tonight? They hadn't played in nearly a month. I thought they played pretty scrappy out there.
Yeah, they did. They worked hard, but I don't know, they left the lane open, so that's what we went for.
Yeah, and you attacked it. You even had a nice slam dunk through 2 defenders. How nice is it to slam dunk on somebody?
It feels great.
Because I've never had those up, so I appreciate you filling me in on that. But once again, congratulations, man, on the victory. 27 points, heck of a job.
Thank you.
Now we're going to pass it off for Jared Lovedahl. Jared, you end up getting the start here tonight for the injured Pareto. End up with 16 points, hustling all over. Great two-way player. What'd you see out there tonight to be so successful?
They just left the lane open for us to cut and shoot.
And how tough was it defending the big man down low, Gowell? You guys throwing the double team on him? I thought you did a stand-up job.
Yeah, it was hard without our big man, but James really steps in, and he's really aggressive.
So how was it like starting here tonight?
It was fun. I like it. Yeah.
So now that you did good, you tell the coach, hey, man, you see, I know, just because you're my uncle, you don't got to keep me on the bench, right?
Right.
Anyways, congratulations once again on a remarkable game.
Thank you.
And there you go, our David Moody with Carter Cook and Jared Lovedahl after the Big Fork win, 66-50 over Hill City. Other boys' action you'd like to highlight? I know there's one in particular that caught my eye.
Well, I know Deer River getting a win over Eveleth Gilbert, 84-53. Nashua Keewatin over Ely, 67-52. That's a nice win. Northwoods blast MIB, which, making a statement maybe in 7 single A, 84-47. Worthington over Hibbing, 79-71. And I do not have a score in front of me for the Greenway Cherry game. Did you find that one?
Let's see. I do not know if I do.
Okay.
Any Greenway listeners, feel free to send in the Greenway Cherry result. We'll be...
JP will send me a text here in moments. You watch.
The one that caught my eye was Two Harbors and Carleton.
Yes, okay.
Two Harbors 89-80 win over Carleton. And during the game, Jaden Ruberg, 57 points. That's a school record for Two Harbors. The previous record holder was Scott McDonald with 54. He was a 71 graduate. He went on to play 3 years of basketball at West Virginia. Actually played football there under Bobby Bowden. So way to go, Jaden Ruberg, 57 points for Two Harbors.
5 3-pointers in that.
Nice notes from Louis St. George of the DNT there. We'll take a quick time out. We'll get you MNN news and weather, and then Grand Rapids Wrestling on the other side of that. 1320 KOZY.
Minnesota News Network, I'm Brent Palm. Well, it appears we're entering the peak of the flu season in Minnesota. MNN's Tasha Radel reports.
For the first time this season, flu activity in the state is being categorized as regional. The state health department's Karen Martin says so far this season, 165 people have been hospitalized with flu-related illness.
We've had a couple pretty serious seasons for the last couple years, so it certainly would be nice if we did have a somewhat milder season. But it's important to note that even in those milder seasons, we still do see many hospitalizations and deaths every year.
Last flu season, nearly 6,500 people were hospitalized with the flu in Minnesota.
Snowmobile accident near Cook in northeastern Minnesota lands a new preg man in the hospital. St. Louis County authorities say 50-year-old Chad Overson was leading a group of snowmobiles on the Arrowhead Trail Friday when he crashed into a tree and was thrown from his machine. This is MNN.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Here's your KOZY weatherology forecast. Chance of scattered snow showers. Today, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 25, east winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast again. Tonight, lows level off around 16. Highs level off around 28. Tomorrow, overcast. Temperatures above average Monday and Tuesday with highs from the mid-20s to the upper 20s. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 22.
Half past the hour here on our Saturday morning on the Sports Issue on KOZY. Joe Gigliotti with Sheldon Willis. Quick follow-up, right on cue. John Peterson, his friends call him JP, called in. Greenway and Cherry, there was no score listed because they did not play. Greenway had to drop that one in place of the Rapids game.
That would be a reason why there was no score listed.
That's exactly what I said, and he said, yep, 0-0.
It was still listed on the schedule, though. You
Yes.
should tell the assistant athletic director you need to update that website.
We'll see if John can give him a call. Well, hey, right now we shift gears to Grand Rapids Wrestling in studio with us, and a pretty full table.
It is a full table, and if we can have half of the fun that was going on behind the scenes and during breaks, it's going to be a fun segment. Caden Lehman, Brendan Moreland, Dusty Wilkie, and Kellen Schauer here representing Grand Rapids Wrestling. And Grand Rapids Wrestling, it's been a successful year so far, Kellen. And I guess we're going to talk some about individual accomplishments because there's a number counting up with you and Brendan. But talk about how the team has done so far this year. You're one of the captains. You got to lead the team in here.
All right, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we're definitely a really young team this year. I think like our first 5 weight classes are filled out by freshmen or 8th graders, so that's always interesting. But they've been wrestling pretty good. But yeah, like we started off a little rocky. That's kind of normal for Grand Rapids, but we've really been picking it up lately because just improving 1% every day. That's something that's important to us. But yeah, we've been having a good season. We beat Hibbing the other night on Thursday. That's always a good win to have. So yeah.
And Hibbing has a pretty strong team this year as well, right? That was, I know it's always a rivalry, but this year there was some talk that Hibbing was saying, we want that number 1 seed in the North and all of that.
Yeah, they definitely had a pretty good team this year, but we just really showed up on Thursday and just wrestled really well.
Now, Brendan, you one of the other captains?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start with, we're let the captains lead it in, and then we'll turn it over to the younger guys. Talk a little bit from your perspective, wrestling this year, and is this your first year as captain?
Yeah, for wrestling it is. Yeah, I think it's just good to kind of keep all these younger guys, get them excited about it, and when they're excited to wrestle, good things happen. So just like the other night in Hibbing, they all got fired up, and when it was time to wrestle, they came and showed up and got the job done.
Now, Dusty, they keep talking about younger wrestlers. Are you one of the younger wrestlers they're talking about?
Oh yeah.
But you were wrestling last year on the varsity as well, right? So you're not totally inexperienced in this.
Yeah, I started my 7th grade year on varsity, 106.
And I know in those lower weight classes, there's often a lot of younger guys wrestling. Have you moved up in weight class here as you've gotten a little older?
Yeah, I'm wrestling like 120 right now.
And I had for our Home for the Holidays, I had Cole Jones in here, who's wrestling at 125, and I'll just say he looks bigger than you.
No, for sure, yeah. You still don't.
That's what happens as you get into your 20s, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's another Wilkie on the team. Are you related?
Yeah, it's my twin brother.
Is that why you guys are so good at wrestling? You just wrestle all the time at home? You beat each other up, and parents finally say, take it to the school?
Sometimes, I mean.
And how do you decide who wrestles what weight class? I see it right now. Are you wrestling one weight class up from Zach?
Yep. And then normally we just both drop, so we don't go in the same weight class. We try to stay away from each other.
And split that up. And how do you decide who moves up a weight class? Is it by matchup? Do you guys weigh the same? Are you identical twins?
No, we're fraternal, but he's weighs a little bit lighter, so.
So you usually are the one that has to.
I normally go up. He normally goes down.
And Caden, I was told you were going to carry this segment. You can grab the wireless mic there. That you were going to be the one who carries it when they run out of things to say. It was you're the talkative one. They can't shut you up in practice. Is that right?
Yeah, they can't shut me up in practice.
Go ahead and not be scared of the mic there. There you go.
Yeah, they can't shut me up in practice. Even though Kellen and Brandon yell at me all the time.
Okay, and why, as a captain, why would you be yelling at poor Caden, Kellen?
Sometimes a little crazy. Maybe we're a little mean. I don't know what it is. Probably a mixture of both.
Talkative.
What, Dusty?
Be a lot talkative.
Okay. So, Caden, talk a little bit about wrestling for you this year. What weight class are you wrestling, and how has the season been going?
It's been going good. I've been wrestling 132. It's been going good.
And every time I have wrestlers on, we talk about how you figure out what weight you're going to wrestle. Was that because it's what the team needed? Are you real comfortable there, or do you have to work to stay at that weight?
Yeah, we start I started at 145 and I cut down all the way to 132. My first meet I started at 38.
Okay.
And we didn't have a 132 pounder, so I went down.
And was it tough to get down to that weight, or you feel that that's a pretty decent weight for you to wrestle at?
It's a good weight.
Because, Kellen, you're wrestling now at 145. Is that what I see? Is that where you're normally slotted in at?
I've been at 152
152?
recently, but
Okay.
I will be dropping down to 145 soon. Yeah.
So you've recently hit some milestones. How long have you been? Some of these career milestones mean you got on the varsity team fairly early. You've been wrestling a lot of years.
Yeah, just like Dusty, I've been on the varsity squad at 106 since 7th grade. Yeah, so I've been kind of gunning for that record for a long time now. Yeah.
And just this week, you picked up the all-time Grand Rapids record for wins.
Yes,
Who did you pass? How many wins was it? Talk a little bit about eyeing that record.
I got ahead of Jamer Evans, if you remember him. He was a state champ, I believe, in 2013, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like my 7th grade year, I ended up having kind of, a good season. And ever since then, I've just been kind of, if I continue this, I could get that record. So, yeah, I've just been, working hard and waiting a long time to try to get that record. So it was just like a really amazing experience.
So and you said you got something to say to him, Caden? No, I saw you pulling the mic up. I thought you were going to you were all ready to go there. See, want to give you a chance. Okay. What's the difference now? You're wrestling as a senior at 152 or 145 compared to wrestling in the lower weight classes as a youngster, a 7th and 8th grader. How do things change? Is it tougher now?
I wouldn't necessarily say tougher, but it's definitely different once you get up to because I'm a midweight pretty much. It's a lot less of reliance on, quickness, and, you have to be in the weight room more, whereas maybe when you're a 106 through 120, you can get away with, not being the strongest person in the world. But yeah, it's a little bit different. That 145, 152, being a midweight, there's normally a lot of good kids around there, so you'll see a lot of good competition.
That's where a lot of the real strong wrestlers end up at, right? It's if you want to say a quote normal weight.
Yeah, it's a pretty normal weight, for high school.
Where at 106, Dusty, where was that? What, last year or 2 years ago? You were wrestling at 106. That's not a normal weight for anybody.
No.
Unless you're 10.
Yeah. Yep.
So talk a little bit about wrestling in those lower weight classes, because you do see a lot of young guys, and every so often you see a junior or senior, and they're tough to handle when you're a 7th grader.
Yeah, when we went to state last year, I think my second round of team, I had a senior at 106, and it was crazy just seeing that he was there. I was like, how is that even possible? And he's big, and I'm I look like a midget compared to he does.
And you say, how did he even make weight,
Yeah.
right? But I mean that's all on the up and up. Obviously, he made weight.
Yeah.
And how did you do?
I lost that match.
And when you go up against someone like that, what are you trying to do, or what do you do to try to take away some of their advantages? Is it just quickness?
Yeah, quickness and trying to counter off their shots. Not really tying up, because I think they'll have a little bit more muscle than me, just because they're older.
And Brendan, how many years have you been wrestling now on the varsity? I know you play other sports, certainly football, but is wrestling what you really love? I won't relay this to Coach Spahn. He's not listening.
Yeah, I would say wrestling's probably my sport. I've been in the room since 8th grade, the varsity room, but I haven't really been on the varsity teams. Been on the varsity team since 10th grade, so been.
And what can you take stuff from the football field and apply them to the wrestling mat?
Oh, definitely, for sure. It's there's certain mindsets you can take from the football field to the wrestling mat that are very, very important.
Such as?
Just staying focused, I think, is a big one. When you're on the field, you got all the fans screaming, and you can hear them and whatever, and then you get to the wrestling mat, and then it's only you out there, so you can definitely kind of hear that crowd, and just you just stay focused through it all and don't listen.
How about physical skills? Can you take some from the football field and put them on the mat?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of aggression on the football field that is easy to use on the wrestling mat too.
Now, wrestling doesn't get the attention that football does. Do you kind of notice your fellow students asking you less about your matches than the football games?
Actually, people ask me more about wrestling because they don't know as much. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, people always watch football. People know about football. It's one of the most popular sports in the world. But when people don't know about wrestling, I think they're more curious to learn about like what actually happens during a wrestling meet or tournament and whatnot.
Yeah, and Caden, talk a little bit about how you started. What got you involved in wrestling? What possessed you to go into this sport?
When I was in first grade, I was always watching WWE. So I joined it because of WWE, and then first practice, the coach said it wasn't WWE, and I was like, I was automatically mad. And so then my dad was a wrestler, and so I gave it a try, and I started liking it, and I just kept going.
You can't bring a chair into the ring.
No
tables. No flying drop kicks.
Nope.
Okay, so all of that stuff. How old were you when you were mad about that?
First grade.
First grade. You wanted to be who was big when you were in first grade? You wanted to be Hulk Hogan?
I was going to be anyone. I would have been.
Lesnar.
I would have been Brock Lesnar. I would have been John Cena.
Are you still a WWE fan?
No, I don't watch it much.
Okay, I do. I thought we could bond there for a moment, but Sheldon, back to you.
Something I didn't know about you, Super Joe. Big WWE fan.
It's theater, man.
And do you get that some when you say I'm a wrestler, that people immediately think about professional wrestling, which is really a spectacle rather than a sport?
I think, some people are kind of think that, but I think most people know high school wrestling is a little bit different. But I have a lot of people asking me, what's legal in wrestling. They're like, hey, can you punch a guy, or can you do this, or what kind of throws can you do? And so we'll often have conversations about that. And no, you can't really punch a guy, but you can get away with being pretty mean if you're smart about it.
Is that what you look so nice, Kellen? So are you one of those guys that gets away with being mean just because you look nice?
I wouldn't say I'm the meanest kid on the wrestling mat, but I'm not afraid to be a little mean. But we have this thing, and during our practices, we have live matches all the time, and for some reason, everyone's always scared to wrestle Brendan.
Yeah, they don't like wrestling me.
Scared to wrestle me, so I guess he's a little meaner than me, and sometimes that makes me feel a little bad about myself, but it's okay.
You got to take it to the kids.
I suppose maybe I have to be a little meaner. I don't know.
So Brendan, why do people not want to wrestle you? Or should I ask Caden? Why do people not want to wrestle Brendan in practice?
The crossface.
I guess I have a mean crossface. They're all scared of it, but
I've ever felt.
I mean, if you gotta wrestle the way you're gonna wrestle all the time in practice and on the mat. You gotta bring all your marbles to the table every match, no matter if it's in practice or not. So nothing changes for me. Whoever you are, I could be wrestling Little Dusty over here, and I'd still do the same thing. It doesn't matter.
So how far up do you say live matches in practice? How far up in weight classes, or how do you ever wrestle, Brandon?
No.
No. Okay.
I think the highest I've went up is probably Caden with 136, 132.
And are those matches in practice pretty intense, Caden?
Oh, they get very intense.
Worse than actual matches?
I think sometimes, yeah, because we got everyone, our Mondays are our hard days, so we go and live matches in, we work really hard, and we're all wrestlers are extremely competitive in everything we do. That's just kind of how we are. So it doesn't matter normally who you're wrestling, you just go all out, and sometimes things get pretty intense.
And are there weight classes where there's a lot of competition for who's actually going to be the wrestler? Maybe Kellen has a weight class locked down, that, but there's others where there's a lot of competition to see what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot. One kid could beat another kid, then that kid could beat that kid. It could, because all different techniques match different.
So, and that's always something that intrigues me about wrestling, because everyone has their own style or their favorite moves or favorite things they do, but sometimes that doesn't match up well against someone else, right, Kellen?
Yeah, it is kind of how it works. You know, sometimes you get guys who like to wrestle really open. They don't like to tie up, and then you get guys who really like to tie up. And yeah, it's really cool to see like how styles mesh. Like sometimes you'll see a kid go out there and wreck someone, and then a kid who who's not very good will go out there and beat that kid. It's just crazy.
What's the toughest style for you to wrestle against? What gives you the most trouble? I'll let everyone take it, but we'll start with you, Brendan.
I'm gonna say the short, stocky guys that are just bulk jobs. You know, they maybe not the greatest technicians, but they're a brick wall when you try to take them down. I think that's probably the toughest for me to wrestle, because I'm kind of a long, kind of skinnier wrestler and like to take my outside shots, and then they just like to blast double you or something like that. I think those big, strong guys are the harder ones to wrestle.
Low center of gravity?
Yep.
How about you, Caden? What's the toughest style of wrestler for you to go up against?
When they like tying up. Like, I don't like tying up. I like to get them to like reach and stuff. So when they do tie up, but yeah, I'd say long, lengthy. So like they're bouncing off the mat and everything, crawling around. That's definitely different.
How about you, Dusty?
I would have to say long and lanky. I don't like those kids. They always reach out and go and slide across the mat on one knee, and I just want to slam their face into the mat. Get up on your feet.
I'd say for me personally, kind of a wrestler that wrestles really open. You know, I really like I have a really fast pace, and I like, getting in there, getting my ties and pushing things. And then when they kind of try to stay away from me, or maybe, wrestle really passively, that's something I don't really like.
Something where you have to be the aggressor and actually go in after.
Well, yeah, where they're like, I'm normally the aggressor in the matches,
Okay.
but when they're just kind of really trying to stay away and only, be defense and stuff, that's something I don't really like.
Now, when you end up down on the mat and you see some, and I forget the term, leg riders.
Yeah, leg riders. Yeah.
Is that something you see a lot, and do you use it yourself?
It's not something I normally use. I mean, I know how to do it, but maybe sometimes in practice, but normally
Okay.
not a lot. But it's not super common, but it's been
Okay.
getting more common throughout high school, and it's kind of a problem because a lot of kids don't really know how to get away from legs. But yeah.
So what's the key to facing someone who's going to leg ride?
Power sit.
Yeah.
Just plow over them as hard as you can, and then just catch them off guard. They won't be able to get that leg in and, flatten you out. I'm not a huge fan of legs. I hate them. I hate people that ride legs.
Chatting with Grand Rapids Wrestling here on the Sports Issue. Kellen, nice feature on you in the Duluth News-Tribune this week.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us about your injury from last season and the recovery process and where you're at now.
So very first practice of postseason, I tore my UCL in my left elbow, and yeah, it was just very bad timing, and I didn't really know if I was going to be able to wrestle at all. They originally thought I broke it, so for like a whole night I thought I had a broken elbow, so that wasn't very fun. And then I ended up being able to come back about a week and a half later for team sections, and then we ended up making it to the state as a team, so that was awesome. And I just kind of as the rest of the season went on, it kind of just got a little bit worse and worse, and ended up not being able to perform as well as I wanted to. Obviously maybe I could have wrestled better, but the injury didn't really help. But yeah, and then I hurt it pretty bad at the state tournament again, and ended up having to take 2.5 months off of wrestling. But yeah.
Did you wrestle any differently with the injury?
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't be as aggressive as I really wanted to, and I'm left-handed, so that didn't really help. And I definitely noticed, on bottom, I had a way harder time getting away, especially against, good kids at the state tournament, because everyone's pretty much the same level down there.
So, and how frustrating, because I know I was down for Team State last year, and was it frustrating for you? I didn't know about the injury. I think you kept that as close to the vest as you could. What was it frustrating down at state saying, I could be better than this, and this is just bad luck?
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating. really try not to let things get to me. So I guess you could say I was, kind of in denial at the state tournament. I was like, I'm fine. I'm just going to wrestle. And then I ended up losing a few matches that I definitely could have won. And then, just kind of, reflecting after the state tournament, I was like, yeah, definitely wasn't myself, but it was very frustrating, yes.
So how much did the rest of the team know about Kellen's injury down there?
I think I knew exactly what was going on. You could tell you watched him the whole regular season just wrestle just unbelievably well, and then you see him get down to the state tournament. Obviously, a lot of those guys are a lot better than some of the regular season competition, but you could definitely notice it, and it was kind of hard to see that. See one of my buddies go to have such high expectations and then have something like that happen to him. It just kind of not ruined a lot of ruined the season, but kind of wish maybe I wish that wouldn't have happened.
Now, coming up yet this year, when is the Skip Nayland? Do you have that circled on your calendar? I know that's a big deal here in Grand Rapids. Caden, do you know when that is?
Yeah, I believe it's 26, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
26. See, that was a quiz. Now you passed, so I'll put a passing grade.
Nice.
A+.
A+. Well, at least a B.
Yeah.
And I know obviously looking towards sections, team sections, individuals, and state. But talk a little bit about the Skip Nayland. Haven't had you talk for a little bit, Dusty. You in here. What's the fun of a big invitational like that? And how is there extra work for the team when you're hosting it?
Yeah, definitely. Just getting everything prepared and getting yourself mentally ready. The Skip Nayland's one of my favorite tournaments to wrestle. It's a good community of people, and it's just a lot of fun wrestling. You get a lot of really good matches.
One of the interesting things I find when I end up at a wrestling meet here in Grand Rapids, you guys get good crowds, right? This is a sport with a lot of tradition here in Grand Rapids, but it's a completely. I don't see very many of the same people I see at the hockey rink.
Yeah.
It's a different crowd, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And talk a little bit about the fans that you have coming out and how supportive they are.
My biggest fan is probably my mom. She always makes it to my meets unless she's working, which she hates not being able to make it. She's always having people record me so she can watch my matches. But yeah, the crowd's definitely different than when I went to like a hockey game. The crowd's way different. I feel like the crowd is way louder than wrestling.
Well, and I know at the section, I think it was at the section meet last year that came down right to the final match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Pretty close, or the next to final.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the 220.
Yeah. Came down to 220.
Yeah.
That was about as loud as I've ever heard that gym.
Yeah,
was when that match was going on.
Yeah, that's definitely the loudest I've personally heard that gym. I think that entire bleacher section seemed to be completely filled out. I wasn't really looking too hard, but yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was such a good experience to see everyone there. A lot of my friends, a lot of my family. So it was just a great crowd.
And people keep reminding me that Grand Rapids was a wrestling school long before it was a hockey school.
Yeah, I know. We've sent a kid to the state every single year since since Grand Rapids wrestling started. We're a very talented wrestling team. We definitely have a lot of history.
And I'm certain getting back to state as a team is one of the big goals this year as we wrap this up. What is it going to take to win section as a team, Brendan?
Hard work, lots of hard work. I think the guys are doing a good job right now. Just tighten up the screws a little bit and work hard. And I think we've got a good chance to make another run and get a three-peat.
And I know we didn't mention, but you are right on the cusp of a milestone for your wrestling career. You ended up this week with 99 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool just to see, the history of the program. You see all those guys that have 100 wins or more, and, you get to see your name up there with some of the guys like big names, Cole Jones, Quincy Osborne, Jameson. Obviously, Kellen kind of makes my 100 wins seem puny, but it's a big milestone, and I'm excited that's one of my goals this year, to get to 100 wins, and it feels good to be so close to that. And
getting 100 wins in anything definitely isn't easy.
Yeah.
So.
Very much so. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grand Rapids Wrestling here on the Sports Issue on KOZY. Had to find the right button there. And we'll take a quick break. We have the car care tip of the day on the way shortly, and ABC News at 9. And then hour number 2 of the Sports Issue, KOZY.
So some people are asking, what's this warranty for life business? Hey, Max here from Donlier Ford, and here's the deal. We are giving you a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new and qualified used vehicles. This means engines, transmissions, transfer cases, all the expensive stuff is covered. Plus, you get roadside assistance for 10 years. We're talking towing, service loaners, jump starts, lockout, gas, battery, water, flat tires, you name it. That's how Donlier's lowers the cost on your next new ride. You always get more for your money at Donlier Ford under the big American flag in Rapids.
Kick off the new year with the dollar sale at Super One Foods. Bone-in fryer chicken breast, $1 per pound family pack. Fresh and natural Smithfield bone-in country-style ribs, only $1 a pound family pack. 12 to 14 ounce Fresh Express coleslaw, iceberg garden salad, or 8 ounce Fresh Express lettuce shreds, $1 each. Green Giant mini carrots, 1 pound bag, only $1. Make sure you stop by the Hot Bar, Salad Bar, and Olive Bar for something fresh and new every day. Super One Foods, proud to be a part of your community.
Today, we're speaking with...
My name is Dr. Jared Berggren, and the name of my business is Berggren Family Chiropractic. I run a chiropractic clinic out in Balsam Township. We've been open for almost 10 years now. I'm mainly treating chiropractic patients, kind of have an all-natural storefront in the clinic itself.
Dr. Berggren moved all his banking services to Woodland Bank.
Well, I was looking for a bank to consolidate some small business loans from when I started up my business. And I was just looking to streamline things, and after talking to Kurt Werner at Woodland Bank, he sure seemed to make that an easy process for me. My wife and I do all of our personal banking there now. We've transitioned everything business and personal over to Woodland Bank, from checking to savings, and it just helped my business move a little more smoothly.
Woodland Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
That's the Woodland way.
It's time for the Car Care Tip of the Day, sponsored by Hibbing Chrysler Center.
Let's get something started during Hibbing Chrysler Center's 25th anniversary sale. All month long, register for prizes, including the grand prize, floor seat tickets to Dierks Bentley at Amsoil Arena in Duluth with special guests John Party and Tennille Towns. Hibbing Chrysler thanks you for your support the past 25 years with an anniversary sale you just can't miss. New Ram Classic Quad Cab 4x4, lease for $199 a month, or the all-new Ram 1500, lease for just $299 a month. And the Jeeps. New Jeep Renegade, lease for $99 a month. New Jeep Compass, just $149 a month. New Jeep Grand Cherokee, $299 per month. And the new Jeep Wrangler, $249 per month. Hibbing Chrysler will take anything on trade. Every pre-owned vehicle is on sale. What are you waiting for? Start something new during Hibbing Chrysler's 25th anniversary sale. 36 months lease, 10,000 miles per year OAC. The Start Something New event and 25th anniversary sale all month long at Hibbing Chrysler Center. Right on the Beltline, right on the corner, and right on the price.
With today's Car Care Tip, I'm Tim Edwards. Most vehicle owners have had to reference their vehicle identification number at some point or another. A car's VIN is like a human's DNA. It follows a specific code and is entirely unique to each vehicle. The VIN system represents an attempt at standardizing automobile identification on a global level. A VIN consists of a combination of 17 characters which identify the make, model, and year of the vehicle, as well as more in-depth details such as engine type, vehicle restraint system, and vehicle weight. While the most common application is found in passenger vehicles, the VIN is used for all road-going vehicles, including trucks, trailers, buses, and motorcycles. You usually find it on the driver's side dash, although it could be on the passenger door frame or the vehicle firewall. VIN stands for Vehicle Identification Number. If you call it a VIN number, you're calling it a Vehicle Identification Number, and that's comically redundant. That's today's Car Care Tip. I'm Tim Edwards.
The Car Care Tip of the Day, sponsored by the Hibbing Chrysler Center. Listen for the Car Care Tip of the Day, 8:50 a.m. on 1320 KOZY.
1320 KOZY Grand Rapids.
serving Grand Rapids and surrounding areas since 1948.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The partial government shutdown now dragging into a fourth week with no relief in sight. Government workers and many other average Americans struggling because of the shutdown. Lawmakers and the president digging in on funding over a proposed border wall. ABC's Lana Zach has more from Capitol Hill.
Even among supporters of President Trump, the shutdown is taking its toll. Kevin Servine had planned to sell his Minnesota business, but the Small Business Administration is not processing loans because of the shutdown.
I don't believe a wall should be getting in the way of working class people trying to take care of their family.
Servine says he wants the president he supported to end the shutdown now. Lana Zach, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Some 800,000 federal employees are either furloughed or working without pay. Police in Paris say 2 firefighters were killed today, dozens of people injured by an explosion at a bakery this morning. Police say it appears a gas leak is the cause. Pedro Gonçalves works at a hotel in the neighborhood and says he saw firefighters responding to a call at the bakery about an hour before the explosion. He said the force of the blast knocked him down.
I just have time to get down and cover myself and protect my head. So I feel a lot of things fall on me.
Authorities say 10 people are in critical condition. In Wisconsin, Jamie Kloss is reunited with her family. The 13-year-old, missing for 88 days, was found after she escaped from a home. Police say where she was held by 21-year-old suspect Jake Patterson, taken from her home, her parents killed. ABC's Alex Perez is in Barron.
Jamie was able to give authorities a description of her captor and the car he was driving. Within minutes, authorities were able to track him down. That suspect, 21-year-old Jake Patterson, is due in court next week. He's facing murder and kidnapping charges.
Authorities say Jamie has cleared all of her medical evaluations. You're listening to ABC News.
With the stock market at all-time highs, cash in your profits now and invest in an asset that can potentially pay for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-defined accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call now to learn how you can potentially achieve 20 or more years of income and deduct 100% of every dollar invested against all forms of income. Call 1-800-803-8511. Invest in your future and buy oil. Encore is drilling in an area that is potentially one of the most prolific horizontal oil plays in the entire country. Oil prices are projected to rise, so you need to own a piece of an oil field. Encore Energy is the most active oil and gas operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 1-800-803-8511. You'll be calling directly to the home office of Encore Energy. That's 1-800-803-8511. Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
In Texas, a family is asking for the public's help in the search for a missing mother. Emily Wade was last seen leaving a friend's house outside of Dallas, but never made it home. ABC's Zachary Quiche has more.
Emily Wade, a 38-year-old mother and waitress in Ennis, Texas, has been missing for over a week. Her mother says Emily went missing last Saturday night after telling her she was going to a coworker's house for pizza and a movie. A friend there telling police Emily drove away that night and hasn't been heard from since. Adding to the mystery, the family says Emily's bank account hasn't been used, and either has her cell phone.
In California, police say the suspect in the fatal shooting of a rookie Davis police officer killed himself after fleeing the scene of the shooting. No motive yet known for what police are calling an ambush shooting. The officer, 22-year-old Natalie Corona, was just weeks into her job and was responding to a traffic collision.
Natalie's father, Merced Corona, is a retired veteran of the Colusa County Sheriff's Department.
We're going to grieve.
He was proud of his daughter, who had just graduated from the police academy last summer. He says even as a rookie, she knew the risks of the job.
She died doing what she loved to do. She knew that that was a possibility.
A bagpiper played Amazing Grace outside of the police department, where there's now a growing sea of flowers, candles, and cards to honor Officer Corona.
ABC's Cornell Barnard reporting from Davis, California. This is ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people that meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Zoom gives you flawless video, crystal clear audio, and instant sharing across any mobile, tablet, or desktop device. But the best thing about Zoom? It just works. So ditch the distractions, join the movement, and meet happy with Zoom video conferencing. Visit zoom.us to set up your free account today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Classic Radio weather.
Here's your KOZY weatherology forecast. Chance of scattered snow showers. Today, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 25, east winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast again. Tonight, lows level off around 16. Highs level off around 28. Tomorrow, overcast. Temperatures above average Monday and Tuesday with highs from the mid-20s to the upper 20s. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 21.
Second hour of the Sports Issue, 1320 KOZY, online KOZYradio.com. There you'll find live audio and video streaming. How are we looking?
And no better than normal.
All right. Well,
Hey, the video doesn't lie. I'm a lot better looking in audio.
Yes, I think we all are. Yeah, the bar isn't very high, so... Coming up later on, we'll have Deer River boys basketball in studio at about 9:30. Let's see, looking around the high school games some more. Boys hockey action from last night. No Grand Rapids game, but Greenway in action against AA Roseau, and Greenway falls 3-1 in that one.
And Greenway getting a 1-0 lead fairly early. Tristan Birdstall goal, 5:09 first, but then Paul Hugland and Daniel Wensloff in the second, and Josh Olson even strength in the third period for that 3-1 win. Roseau, of course, Grand Rapids upended Roseau here on the strength of a 3-goal flurry that was it was something to behold. It was like catching lightning in a bottle there. But Roseau's been playing well since then, and they have a lot of solid wins.
And and Greenway, again, a very tough schedule this year, really ramping it up. Not a ton in the win column this year for the Raiders, as they're now sitting at 6-11 on the season, and it doesn't get any easier. In fact, it gets harder. Hermantown on the schedule on Tuesday. That one at Hermantown. We'll have it for you on 96.9 KMFY in what could be a preview of yet another section championship matchup.
Yeah, I would say that's certainly true. By the way, Logan Wright playing in net last night for Greenway. I think Coach Clafton's been rotating his two goalies a little more, Tyler Penny and Logan Wright. That's a tough one, and for Greenway, you're going to be up for that one.
Absolutely. And after Tuesday's game, it's hockey day next Saturday in Bemidji. The forecast looks pretty brutal. It looks very, very cold.
You were saying the forecast now says forecast high of 5 below?
Correct.
Yow.
Now, that's a bit of an extended forecast, a week out, but let's hope that changes a little bit. I questioned, if it's that cold, do you move it inside? And you said no.
They haven't in the past.
No?
I don't think they've ever moved it inside for cold.
Yeah, we were talking off air. We believe when they were on Lake Minnetonka, the Duluth East Minnetonka game got moved inside, but we're not sure if that was for rain or warm weather or what.
Yeah, and now, of course, they're doing artificial ice, in every venue, but we're not going to have to worry about the ice melting on Saturday.
No. So we'll keep you posted, but we will have your complete Hockey Day coverage for you next Saturday on 96.9 KMFY.
By the way, do you know it can get too cold to skate?
I did not.
Yes. It is the pressure on the ice of your blade that creates a little bit of water that you actually glide on, and it can get so cold that you cannot skate. It's very cold, like 45 below or something, but...
That's crazy, man. The more you know.
Yes.
And did you know that?
Did you know?
And did you know that I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey?
No, I did not know that.
Well, that's okay. Then I turned myself around. I didn't come
All
up.
right.
A friend of mine told me that yesterday. Let's see. So other boys hockey action, not a lot in the Northland, but we did have Cloquet Esco Carleton and Eden Prairie, and the Eagles get a 4-1 win there.
And Cloquet Esco Carleton actually had a 1-0 lead in the second, scoreless first, 1-0 Cloquet in the second, before I think Eden Prairie kind of wore down the Lumberjacks from what I understood and the reports I've seen. Grand Rapids, of course, heading to Cloquet on Tuesday.
Big section matchup there, and the section matchups don't carry any more weight than the other ones in the QRF, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But for Grand Rapids, they just need some AA wins somewhere.
And they're like right on the cusp of getting those big wins. They've been keeping games close, just trying to put them in the win column. And elsewhere, Bagley, Foston, and Ely combined for 12 goals. Bagley with the 7-5 win.
You know,
yes.
There's many places I would have rather been than at that game in Ely. Just saying. Brainerd over Sartell St. Stephen 3-0, and Brainerd's quietly putting together a pretty nice year.
And yeah, that about wraps it up for the Northland boys hockey. On the girls' side, speaking of big section matchups, Grand Rapids Greenway, the Lightning against Elk River Zimmerman, a 2-1 overtime win for Elk River. And, the winning goal, tell us.
A winning goal in overtime, scored on the power play. Grand Rapids getting called in the first minute of overtime. And it doesn't even say what the penalty was for, but Quinn Cassell taking a minor penalty. That better have been, like you said, neither of us were there, but you don't see that real often in overtime.
It better have been pretty egregious for a penalty to be called in overtime in a big section matchup like that.
And Grand Rapids had a 1-0 lead in the third period on a Claire Vekic goal, unassisted, and then Elk River tied it less than a minute later and then won it in overtime on a power play goal.
And let's see, what's up next? Oh, another big one for Grand Rapids Greenway.
No question.
Forest Lake on the schedule, and that will be today at 2 o'clock in Forest Lake. So back-to-back section matchups there.
And then I believe Friday and over here.
And the Lightning, after a really strong start, well, they've lost, 4 of their last 5, but some pretty good competition at that Edina tournament. And, I'm not worried, though. They'll be fine.
They will be fine. There are, I'm going to say, 4 really good teams in Section 7 AA, at least 4, and Grand Rapids Greenway is in that count, but it's going to be a meat grinder to come out of 7 AA girls again this year.
And another one to look ahead to will be January 18th. That'll be this coming Friday against 14-3 Andover.
Yes.
Also in Section 7 AA.
And we will have that one on the air.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Elsewhere, girls hockey action from last night for the northern teams. International Falls shuts out Park Rapids 5-0. It was Bemidji 2-1 over River Lakes. Blaine defeats Proctor Hermantown 3-1. Brainerd Little Falls over Thief River Falls 4-2. Warroad 6-1 win over Hibbing Chisholm. And Minnehaha over Eveleth Gilbert 3-0.
Warroad's really good. Just as an alert, I believe they were state runner-ups last year.
Sounds about right, I think.
In single A, and I think they want to get back to the state tournament and make some noise.
Warroad 19-0 this season. My goodness.
That's pretty good.
Last year, 24-4-2, and yes, you are correct. State runner-up, falling to Breck in overtime. Let's see. Anything else on the local scene you'd like to hit?
Local college, but regional college. Blake McLaughlin getting his first college goal last night.
Yes.
For the Golden Gophers. Do you have the highlight of that?
I sure do.
Big good guy.
Giving the Gophers a 2-0 lead against Notre Dame.
It's rung around by Notre Dame, but it's picked off the wall by Minnesota's Nathan Burke, flipped it in front and down to a leg to block it, and then they shoot and score! Minnesota picking it up, and McLaughlin gets his first college goal.
Way to go, Blake. He's been working hard to get that, and a lot of ice time for him as well. He's been great in the corners, puck possession, and finally gets rewarded with college goal number 1. Nice picture tweeted out by the Golden Gopher hockey account holding up that puck with goal number 1.
And I just retweeted that actually.
I did as well. Yeah. Let's see. And later on, nice goal from Sammy Walker and maybe an even better pass from McLaughlin here to set it up to make it 4-0.
Here comes McLaughlin, looking for Walker. He scores! Walker cruising like a guided missile towards the net. Backhand tip, and it's 4-0 Gopher.
Wally Shaver on the call. Yeah, the pass from Blake was just like a saucer whistle backhand, and great catch of the pass by Walker for that 4-0 lead. Gophers would go on to win 5-1. There you go. So, good win over a pretty high-ranked team, Notre Dame.
Certainly, and two very highly ranked teams going at it as well in St. Cloud State and UMD.
Yes, and the Bulldogs get the 3-1 victory over the Huskies as Hunter Shepard gets another win in net for Minnesota Duluth. And congrats to the Bulldogs on that one. Yeah, big series going on this weekend at Amsoil.
Yeah, and speaking of highly ranked teams, of course, St. Cloud State coming in ranked number 1.
And UMD number 5. Let's see, elsewhere it was North Dakota with a 4-3 overtime win over Colorado College. Ludwig Hoff with the overtime winner.
Nicely done.
Don't come across too many guys named Ludwig.
Ludwig,
yes. Bemidji State shuts out Alaska Fairbanks 3-0. Northern Michigan, Grant Potulny's team, defeats Anchorage 5-1. Your Anchorage record update now 2-18-1. 1-13 in the WCHA.
Ouch.
Let's see. Elsewhere, Denver 1-0 over Omaha. And let's see. Anything else catching your attention there, Sheldon?
Well, I was just reading over the recap of the UMD win. Hunter Shepard, it's his 58th consecutive start. And UMD was outshot 26-10 in the first 2 periods. Hunter Shepard keeping him in there.
Yes. On the ladies' side, it was Minnesota 5-1 over Mankato, outshooting Mankato 33-19. Elsewhere, St. Thomas 3-1 over Gustavus Adolphus, and St. Olaf and St. Catherine 3-3 tie. Concordia.
The Olies.
Yes, there you are. Concordia 1-1 tie with St. Mary's. And that's a look at the ladies' side of things from yesterday. Ohio State 1-0 over Wisconsin. Bemidji State a 4-1 win over Minnesota Duluth.
Bemidji State hockey's been doing pretty well.
They have, yes.
I think they're climbing it. May have a home game in the WCHA playoffs.
Yeah, could very well be.
Angling for that 4th spot.
Let's see, elsewhere, to the folks that get paid to play, Minnesota Timberwolves in action last night against the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, under new interim head coach Ryan Saunders, and just kind of a new energy built into this team, I feel like, Sheldon.
Well, you would hope so. I mean, it's certainly a change and a youthful coaching staff now. Ryan Saunders, there's four players on the Timberwolves team older than he is?
Yes.
32?
32.
So he can always suit up in a pinch.
Yes, if need be. Let's see, he's only just a few years older than me. That's crazy. Yeah, we kind of see it in the NFL, too. A lot of younger coaches being hired. But hey, last night, Dallas with the 119-115 win over the Wolves. Disappointing loss on home court to the Mavericks. Some highlights of the game. First quarter action, Karl Anthony Towns with a slam for a 15-3 run for Minnesota.
His driving layup is too strong off the glass. Here come the Wolves on the run. Rose feeds Towns, two-handed flush. In transition, on a mission. The Timberwolves now lead by 7, and it's a 15-3 Wolves run.
I like that line. In transition, on a mission. Later on in the first quarter, Dallas with an 11-2 run.
Doncic with it up top. 10 on the shot clock. Wiggins is guarding him. JJ comes to set the screen, then flares off, and Doncic pops on an angled triple and buries it. Luka Doncic here in the opening quarter already with 11 to go along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists.
The superstar rookie for Dallas, Luka Doncic. Second quarter action after the Wolves were down 28-26 after the first quarter. Derrick Rose here in the second.
Wiggins will trigger in just beyond the Wolves bench from right to left with 2:25 to go here. Rose off the Gibson screen. Free throw line jumper is good. Derrick Rose, who missed his first 3 shots, knocks this one down. Wolves are within 8 here with 2:15 left to go in the half.
Dallas with a 51-50 lead at halftime. Third quarter action, Karl Anthony Towns getting the Wolves within 7 after the Mavs came out storming in the third.
Now Teague up into the front court from left to right as the Timberwolves wear their City Edition jerseys. Towns now fires. Left angle 3 is good. Back-to-back triples. First to Kogi, now Towns. Carlisle playing this one tight to the vest. He calls a timeout. He senses the momentum shift.
No word on if Carlisle was actually wearing a vest. Karl Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter tying things up.
Now Teague with it on the left side, working against Maxi Kleber, trying to take him off the dribble. Nothing doing. Now Rose inside to Towns. Turns up strong, off glass, got it for 2. Tied at 107. 2:45 left to play, and Rick Carlisle wants to talk things over. So it's a 12-2 Timberwolves run to tie this game, again with 2:45 left to go.
But then the Mavs would start to pull away a little bit late in the game, and it was that Doncic fellow with a big bucket late.
105-99, it's a 2-possession game. Doncic with it up top off the DeAndre Jordan screen. That picks off Rose. Doncic pulls up. 18-footer is good straight away. Boy, this kid is something special. 22 points for the rookie out of Slovenia.
And Alan Horton brings us home.
Teague looking to trigger in, gets it to Rose up top. Derrick calmly taking a few seconds here. Towns right side, catch and shoot 3, missed it. Rebound tapped out by Saric. At the buzzer, Rose will fire on the 3, it's no good. And Dallas escapes with a 119-115 victory. The worst road team in the NBA comes away with their 4th victory in 22 road games this year.
So the Mavericks spoil the home coaching debut of Ryan Saunders. Doncic finishes with 29 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds. Big three-pointer with 22 seconds left for the go-ahead bucket. Big night for Towns as well. 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Derrick Rose with 21 off the bench after he missed 6 games with an ankle injury. Wolves did out-rebound Dallas 53-43, but they did lose the turnover battle 13-7. Sellout crowd in the home debut for Ryan Saunders, and he says that couldn't quite stop Luka Doncic.
He's a talent. He's a talent. Big-time players make big-time plays. He made one tonight, and we're feeling it.
And Towns here wasn't super thrilled with the fourth quarter effort.
We just didn't play with the edge all game. We played really well, I think, throughout the game with good energy. Slowed our tempo down. We didn't play the tempo we wanted to all 48. We played the tempo we wanted in the second half, got ourselves back in the game, played well. Just some things didn't go our way throughout the night, and, it led to our demise. We also hurt ourselves too.
And this next one... And next up here we have Towns, some more Towns on the coaching job so far of Ryan Saunders.
I think Ryan was almost flawless tonight. Got to give a lot of credit to him. He made a lot of great moves, a lot of right moves. And, it's just us. This loss is on us as players. We didn't come out and execute the way we needed to. We had great belief in the game plan. We tried to follow as close as possible. We just didn't do enough executing at the end.
It's kind of like the honeymoon of a new coach, if you will. The coach was almost flawless tonight.
I don't know that I've ever heard that in a post-game press conference from a player. The coach was flawless tonight.
We'll have to ask.
Do your players ever say that about you, Michael?
Never.
Never. Okay, that was my question too. Glad we got that.
I may have to start asking that in post-game interviews of players. So how'd the coach do tonight?
Yeah. Was he or she flawless? And finally, Derrick Rose on the fourth quarter defense of the Wolves.
Just miscommunication again. I mean, it's always there when you have a foul to give and the people on the court, like you're so lost in the game that you kind of slip your mind, especially when they're coming down the full speed.
There we go. Derek Rose bringing things down a little bit for us. Wolves fall to the Mavericks again. Your final 119-115. And next up for the Wolves, they're on the air tonight as they take on New Orleans.
NOLA.
Yes, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock opening tip. The Wild will be taking on Detroit. That'll be coming up today. Also Gopher men's basketball against Rutgers.
That's an early start. That's an 11:30 tip-off.
Yes. A little more on those matchups in a little bit. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with Coach Micah Williams of Deer River Boys Basketball. The Sports Issue continues next here on KOZY.
If your patio doors stick, squeak, or leak, replace them with Anderson patio doors. Their low-E glass, low-maintenance exteriors, rich wood interiors, and wide range of sizes can turn patio door replacement into serious home improvement.
Stop and see Derek, your Anderson window specialist at Anderson Glass, Grand Rapids.
Northern Pines Orthopedic Clinic has been providing orthopedic services to the region for over 30 years. They are providers for most insurance companies, including the St. Luke's Network. They provide non-operative and operative management of injuries and fractures, repetitive work and sports-related injuries, and chronic conditions such as arthritis. Dr. Baker and Jeff Temple accept walk-in appointments for acute orthopedic injuries Monday through Friday from 8 till 4. Call 326-6677. Northern Pines Orthopedic Clinic, getting you back to the sport of life.
The Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Oh, what a great audience. Let's dim the lights for this next one. Nope, too much. There it is. Gotta get things just right. Like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget. And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again. Trudy, can you? And now it's completely dark.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy, it's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-291-6670. That's 800-291-6670. Don't wait. Call 800-291-6670. Not available in North Dakota.
Today, we're talking with
Andy Klocko.
And I'm Tasha Klocko.
We own and operate Klocko Brewing Company. We, first and foremost, brew beer.
The Klockowls are customers of Woodland Bank.
Woodland, to us, came very highly recommended from multiple people in the community, and kind of hit it off with everyone right away, and sort of felt like the right thing.
They said choosing to do business in Grand Rapids was an easy choice.
I'm originally from Grand Rapids, born and raised, and when we decided to start our family, every time we talked about opening a brewery, we always would say, oh, well, Grand Rapids doesn't have one yet.
The Klockowls use multiple services at Woodland Bank.
We use business checking, loan services, SASA, and the Saver account. Brian's kind of made it clear that it's a partnership from the beginning. First meet up with him and Wayne, it was just very, very clear that, hey, this is an open and honest thing. We want to help you, because if you succeed, we succeed.
Woodland Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
That's the Woodland way.
Minnesota News Network, I'm Brent Palm. Groups on both sides of the issue visited state capitol this week, calling on Governor Tim Walz to weigh in on the proposed Enbridge 3 pipeline. Nicole Peterson from the Thief River Falls Chamber says the economic impact of the pipeline is huge.
We really need to know, for planting our crops, what constructions are going to happen. We really need this permitting process done so that we can move forward with ours.
But high school activist Isra Hirsi echoes the sentiment of many pipeline opponents.
The Line 3 situation would make, one, climate change worse in Minnesota, and also endanger very sacred lands.
Governor Walz has not said whether he'd continue the appeal of the pipeline started by the Dayton Chamber of Commerce. And the small northwest Minnesota community of Carlstead will say farewell today to a fallen Marine. There's a public funeral for 20-year-old Lance Corporal Riley Kushna in the Tri-County High School Gymnasium. I'm Brent Palm. This is MNN.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Classic Radio weather. Here's your KOZY weatherology forecast. Cloudy skies expected this afternoon with flurries likely. High temperatures reach up to 25. Easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Flurries likely tonight, lows around 16. Cloudy skies. Overcast skies tomorrow, 28. High of 29 Monday under cloudy skies. 25 Tuesday. A dusting of snow today. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 21.
The sports issue continues on 1320 KOZY. A little after 9:30 on our Saturday morning, Joe Gigliotti with Sheldon Willis, and we're pleased to be joined by Deer River basketball, including Coach Michael Williams, who's been quite the road warrior the last day or so.
And I didn't realize, Coach, you live in Eveleth. So you put some miles on 169 and Highway 37 in the last 2 days.
Yes, I do.
And talk a little bit about that challenge of being an hour and 20 minutes away from the team you're coaching.
It's a stress relief actually, because I've adjusted some things in my personal life with working, so I can make sure I'm there. Last year I had some work issue challenges, and we had some early morning practice or some later practice, so the kids were relieved that we've got a normal schedule this year for practice. So
does that and Noah Williams joins us as well. Noah, has that made a difference this year to know that the schedule's a little more normal?
Yeah, I think it helps us out, just like mentally and like tiredness wise, especially like after games. Last year we had a couple early practices after away games, and that was really hard to get home late and wake up early. So,
and this is this your third year?
Yes.
Coaching Deer River basketball. Boy, my mental clock is still working a little bit, Michael.
Yes.
And talk about this year's Deer River team. I was just kind of perusing the schedule a little bit, and 6-6, 3-3 at home, 3-3 on the road. But the one thing that jumps out at me is 4-0 in the section.
Yes. We had some challenges to start the season with Kyle Shevich missing with the knee injury. Noah did a real good job of holding down the fort until he returned. And then we had to go through those growing pains of now figuring out rotation. So we actually have we have 4 losses that will equal up to 22 points that we would kind of like to get back, and I think our record will reflect that. We stunk up the gym against Virginia to open up the season, and we shot okay against CI, but the ball just never fell in the hole for us. So, those are our 2 blowout losses. But other than that, the kids have really fought hard in each and every game.
Well, I see there's a close loss to AA Greenway. Greenway's beaten a lot of teams this year. What is the strength of this year's team, Noah? He talked about Kyle coming back. Is it kind of an inside team this year?
Well, really depends on the matchups, because we got shooters and we got guys who can play.
We'll move you up just a little bit there, Kyle.
Yeah, so
Noah.
Yeah.
Kyle in my head. I know you're not Kyle. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so we got a lot of shooters, and we also got people inside who can really score. So it all depends on what matchups we got and who we can exploit.
And from last year's team, Garrett's gone, right? Garrett graduated. Who else are you looking to replace that graduated last year?
Garrett was the only one.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was it. So everyone else is back. So did you come in this year with some expectations that, hey, we're going to be okay, we got most of the team back?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And with Kyle's knee injury, how has that been coming back? And is he back to 100% now?
Well,
Hard to say.
with my injury in football and Kyle's injury this summer in basketball, we're both just kind of easing our way back into the speed of the game, and it's been hard at times, but I think we're both getting to a point where we're almost to 100%.
Do you have to adjust practices some, Coach, when you have players coming back from injury?
Because this is our third year together, we get on each other in reference to how we're going to have practice. They're both trying to peek at the schedule to see how much running we have to do. If it's after a game, he doesn't want to get beat up in practice next day. So we kind of balance things out. So
do you feel like there's a good rapport there, that you have enough,
cachet, yes.
Yeah, cachet with the coach that he listens and you can work things out?
Well, definitely, especially like what Coach said, after games we're sore, so keeping it a light practice but still getting enough conditioning where we're getting our wind up still and still getting in a lot of offense and defense, so it's been good.
Win last night over Evelyn Gilbert, 83-54. What went right last night, Coach?
84-53.
84-53, pardon me.
I think we were able to use our presses and multiple presses, and we were actually able to get to our secondary stops in the presses, and we were able to get some good looks inside early in the game. Took the starters out. So this is the only negative I guess I had on the night. We took the starters out. I think we were up 20-4, and that lead dwindled rather quickly. I threw those guys back in there. We had a lengthy discussion at halftime, and then we were able to extend out in the second half.
Is there a point when that lead starts to dwindle? Do you have a number in your head? Like, okay, if this lead gets down to 6 or 7, is there a number you think of?
No, not with last night's flow of the game and how the first unit played. Even if they came and got the lead, we were okay because they came out with so much energy and focus. So,
is there ever a problem when you get that big lead, you sit down, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we got to do it again, that it's hard to get that energy back coming off the bench?
Well, it's sometimes, but in other times it's kind of, I'd say it's kind of fun because it's like you're starting the game all over again. You got to come back out with the same energy, and it actually makes the game more competitive. So
it's like, okay, now we're going to do this again.
Yeah.
Watch us. Here we come.
Yeah. Yep.
And talk a little bit about team dynamics. How has the team come together, and the fact that you have mostly returners from last year? Is it a fairly close team that way?
Well, yeah, we have a lot of chemistry. We build a lot of team chemistry over the summertime, going to camps and just traveling all over the state and playing basketball together a lot. So we've been playing a long time, and I think we got a lot of good chemistry on the court.
And in a small school like this, do you find players that play together multiple sports as well?
Yeah. Almost everybody on the basketball team plays football, so there's a select few who haven't, like Kyle, because of injuries. He didn't really ever play. And like Jaden Watkins never really played, but basketball still keeps us super close, and we still hang out during football season too, so everybody's pretty close.
And I was hoping and praying no one got hurt.
Every coach says, "Oh, I love multiple sport athletes," but you sweat through a football season, don't you?
Yes, you do. And especially when you have some studs coming in to the season, and if those guys get hurt, now you have to start rethinking some things and who's the best fit to start the season until those guys come back. So it's always a challenge.
So when Noah got dinged up early football season, were you talking to him right away and saying, "Hey, Noah, what's the outlook?"
There were several texts that went out, and he "I'm okay." I said, "Okay, just make sure." But I sweated through some nights there. So.
And do you think about that as well? I mean, certainly you're thinking about the football season, and you want to finish that strong and come back. But are you thinking about the next sport as well when you had that injury in football?
Oh, for sure, because when it happened is they gave me a time span of 8 to 12 weeks, which was completely over football season. So they basically told me I was done. So I was starting to focus on basketball, and then I healed 3 weeks fast and got the chance to come back and play football. So that was really nice.
And were you the one that told me heading into state one of the things you were most looking forward to was the sweatshirt?
Yep, that's why I wore it today.
And that's why you wore it today.
Yeah.
Well done.
I got the sweatshirt.
It's a nice sweatshirt.
It is a nice sweatshirt. Really
Way to go.
comfortable, too.
How was the state experience for you?
You know, it was great to be in the state tournament, but I really wish we would have went down to the bank right away and played a state game in the bank. But I'm just happy we made it that far.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And with the success with volleyball and the football team, now it's kind of put pressure on both boys and girls basketball teams to try to repeat that. So we're hoping.
Well, and certainly you look around Section 7 Single A, and you have to look at Northwoods because, well, state runner-up the last 2 years, and they lost some off of last year's team, but they're still a great basketball team. What does it take to compete with that team?
I'd just say go into it with the right mentality. If you go into it thinking you're just going to get blown out, you're going to get blown out. You have to come out ready to play. And then I feel like if we play as hard as we can, anybody can play with them.
I mean, certainly, I would guess this year's team runs through Cade a lot. Cade Gogolai, he's a special player. Has done some special things at state already. What does it take to kind of contain him?
I think the number one thing to stop Cade is not to let him get his teammates excited. Him doing special plays and finishing those plays. I think once he gets rolling in that sort of aspect, then that gets everybody else's juices flowing, and then now they're trying to raise their level of play at that time. So if we can contain him a little bit and keep the ancillary parts in check, then I think we'll be okay.
So as you look at 7 Single A basketball, is it Northwoods and then everyone else trying to get there, or are there some other teams you look around and say, oh, they're pretty good too?
At this point, I feel like Northwoods is the team to beat. And I think everybody's working their best to try to get to that point and try to beat them.
And when you have a team that's a favorite like that, it's a big target on their back, right? Everyone's scheming and trying to figure out how to stop them.
Correct. And then you're trying to minimize your mistakes, leading up into that game. So if we can actually play like we played against Cass Lake and minimize our 50-50 mistakes, I think we'll be okay.
Well, and I did see that Cass Lake score recently. Cass Lake, a team that is also undefeated and was down at state last year. State champ? Did they third?
Yeah.
Third or fourth. But you played them really tough. Is that the best game you played this year so far? The one against Cass Lake?
I feel like, yeah, it was a good game on our part, and as a team, we shot the ball really well and played really good defense, and the game comes down to mistakes on turnovers and free throws probably.
Yeah. And does a game? I always struggle saying, there's moral victories, but does a game like that give you some confidence?
It definitely gave us confidence because from last year they blew us out by like 33, and to come out and play them tough and just to lose by 7 is even it's still a loss, and it still doesn't feel right, but it definitely feels a lot better than last year.
Well, and it's a team that dismantled Northwoods. I know it was the first game of the season, but
Yes.
Cass Lake really took it to Northwoods early.
Yes, they did. 61-44, I believe the score was of that game, and our game got a little bit out of hand in reference to the three-point shooting from those guys over there. But we had a game of runs here, and we were actually down with 46 seconds, I think, by 13 or something like that, and we closed that gap down pretty quick. So I was pleased with the effort.
Chatting with Deer River boys basketball here on the Sports Issue, Coach Michael Williams and Noah Williams, no relation. Coach Williams, biggest difference coaching this team year 1 versus year 3 as far as how you go about things?
When I look at film, Noah's pretty much a standout. Kyle is a standout because they were starters from my year 1 experience. We just don't have a 6'7" monster behind everybody. But last night we had Derek Wester, Quentin White, Noah Williams, all putting balls in the out-of-bounds area with blocks, big blocks against. They've been really consistent in trying to get blocks and trying to protect the basket. I'm asking Noah to do a few more things on the floor, and he's helping me out that way.
How about from a coaching perspective, maybe things you do differently year 3 versus what you did in year 1?
I don't know if we're too much different from year 1 to year 3. I think we have more depth with our youth, and I think that's helping us out this year.
And a few more things in your repertoire, Coach Williams mentioned. What else have you added to your game this year, Noah?
Well, I've definitely helped with my dribbling skills, helping bring the ball up the court, helping out our young point guards, trying to figure out to speed the game, and just probably helping running the offense a lot more smoothly.
So as you look at it, I think you've been on the varsity all 3 years that Coach Williams has been here. Has he changed in his coaching style at all from your perspective?
I wouldn't say so. Coach is a creature of habit. He's got the same stuff going, and it's been working pretty well. So there's some small adjustments to personnel and just players, like their play styles, and that's just all the changes we really made.
And I don't know the exact term, but as you were getting in here, we were playing some audio from the Timberwolves game last night, and Carl Anthony Towns said, last night the coach was perfect, right?
Flawless.
Flawless.
Yes.
So do you say that about the coach after a game? Coach, you were flawless tonight.
Well, he's never said it about me. So once I get the nod, I'll give him the nod. So.
No one ever plays a flawless game. There's always room for improvement,
Always
right?
room for improvement. Always room.
Well, and I know we've talked about that you're in 7 single A as far as section, but you also play in the Iron Range Conference, so that gives you some games against some bigger schools. I know you end up with 2 against Virginia, AA school, playing Hibbing, a 3A school. Does that help being in the Iron Range Conference and being able to play some of those bigger schools? Or would you rather add some more section games?
To be quite honest, I would hope that we would get out of the IRC.
Okay.
And play more teams in the section, just because then that helps us when it gets to time for the section. I don't think there's a need for us to play Virginia twice a year. I understand that we play Greenway twice because of the close proximity, but
Greenway would seem like a more natural double.
More natural double, yeah.
Yeah.
Virginia's kind of forced. You know, I'd rather play an Evelyn twice if we had to play somebody twice, you know, just to give us our confidence. So.
Yeah, and going up and playing like a 3A Hibbing that's having a strong year in 7-3A this year, that's a pretty big step up.
If we've got all of our parts there, I think we match up pretty well. Kyle didn't play last year.
Okay.
Garrett didn't play last year. It was just Noah. And then we got to the half, and I told him, if you just trust the kids, good things will happen. And so the second half, we actually closed that deficit and ended up losing by 21 without having 2 starters there with him who he's comfortable with. So I think if everyone can get to that game,
knocking on wood,
then I think we'll have a better showing this year against Hibbing.
But, with the way seedings go, with QRF doing the seedings, if you can beat some of those bigger teams that you play, boy, it'll shoot you right up in the section rankings, Noah.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing with that is it's really tough to come play these teams and then look at teams like Big Fork who have the schedule. If we had their schedule, that would be a huge difference for us. We'd probably almost be undefeated. And that just goes to show difference in their schedule and toughness of teams that you play and how it affects your seeding too.
Now, I know for years, and this might before you guys were coaching, I was up at International Falls, and Deer River was 7AA at that point, and it seemed like year after year, the final game of the season would be against I Falls of the regular season, and then you turn around and play them 2 games later in the playoffs and beat them every year. I was every year but one, I think. This year, you end up with Northwoods, final game of the season, and then the thought is you end up having to turn around and play them right away in the playoffs. Is that hard when you get a team like that right at the end of the regular season?
Well, it really hasn't been Northwoods. It's been Big Fork. It's like we play Big Fork the week before
Yep.
the end of the season. Then we play them right before Northwoods. And then guess what? Because of seeding, we're playing Big Fork first round. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, and I know Chad is tired of that. Now, we made some changes. So now we're going to seed 1 through 20. We just moved up from 7 to 6. As I was driving down, I saw that. So we're trying to get, when things are final, we're trying to get into the 2 or the 3 seeds so we don't have to seed Northwoods and then give ourselves a chance.
So seeding no more north or south subsection for
Correct.
7 single A. That's a big change.
Yes.
You're happy about that, is what I'm seeing. That's something you like.
Well, once again, it kind of went back to us in Big Fork. We have both the Cook boys and then our teams. It's like we're not giving ourselves a chance to play against or get to the crossover game and things. So I think with going through the 1 through 20 style of format, that gives us that chance to see those other teams right away. And we always think that our side is the tougher side anyway. So.
Yeah, got it.
And from a reporting perspective for you and I, Sheldon, I'm okay with that, not having to say subsection 1, subsection 2, just 1 through 20.
It'll make the bracket easier to read.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes, it will.
That
Yes,
crossover, sometimes it catch me. It's like, oh, shoot, no, they're not playing here. They're playing over there.
Yep. So I believe the first 2 rounds will be the home team will host this year. So.
Okay, where the last couple years you went neutral site
Neutral
after
site.
the first game, right? Or
Correct. Well, the play-in games were the home games, and then the neutral site was right away.
right away. So this year you're going to have a chance for a couple home games.
Yes.
I like that. I like that format.
You earned it, so yes.
Not that anyone cares what I think, but I'm in favor. It sounds like a common sense way to run the section. I wish more of the larger sections, especially the small school ones, where the geography isn't that spread out.
Right.
There's some sections where it's like, we've got Mora and we've got teams way down south. I get splitting up a north or a south or an east-west, but I don't know. Single A, I like 1 through 20.
I do too.
And you probably didn't have a vote in that, Noah.
No.
And you don't care. Just give me someone to play.
Yeah, pretty much.
You got me all excited about Deer River basketball now. So you're good salespeople.
Thank you.
On that. Looking forward to some playoff run.
Thank you.
Deer River Boys basketball here on the Sports Issue. Coach Michael Williams and Noah Williams here on the issue. And we'll take one more time out and be back to wrap things up on KOZY.
Qualifications and rules apply. Visit Woodland Bank for details.
If going to the bank was more like going out to eat, where would you go? You could try some Mega Bank.
Welcome to the bank. How can we help you?
Yeah, can I get a free checking account?
That's one high-fee checking account. Would you like a credit card with that?
I said free.
Uh-huh, extra fees.
Ugh.
Or you could visit a community financial institution.
Welcome. My name is Doug. I'll be taking care of you today. We have a generous selection of free checking varietals. Our Kasasa accounts are some of my personal favorites.
Kasasa?
Kasasa pays you cash rewards for meeting a few easy qualifications. All fee-free, of course.
Yeah, I'll try Kasasa.
Excellent choice.
Get free Kasasa checking and great service at your local community institution. That's KASASA.
Hi, this is Brian Nicholson, president of Woodland Bank. Ask for Kasasa at any Woodland Bank location or go to woodlandbank.com. Woodland Bank, member FDIC.
Think you know our area? How about the world around you? Prove it. Weekday mornings at 7:33 with Anything Goes Trivia. Brought to you by Personnel Dynamics, your employee connection on 1320 KOZY. We'll ask a question about anything. Baseball, music, movies from the past, present, or future. And on Fridays, we'll do a drawing for a copy of the Morning Mess CD. It's all courtesy of Personnel Dynamics. Prove your knowledge with Anything Goes Trivia. Weekday mornings at 7:33 on 1320 KOZY.
And welcome back to the Sports Issue as we wrap things up here on KOZY. Let's see, a couple more notes before we go. Minnesota Wild taking on the Detroit Red Wings tonight. Wild coming off a nice win on Thursday over Winnipeg. And Wild playing pretty well. They had a nice Canadian road trip. A little slip up against Boston earlier in the week, but good bounce back against the Jets.
That was a good game against the Jets, although you get a little worried when the Wild up 3-0, do not get a shot on net in the third period. Wow.
Exactly. Bruce Boudreau on that win over Winnipeg.
Well, the first two periods I thought we were really excellent. I mean, in all aspects of the game. The third period, I think we ran out of gas, but we had enough character to hold them. And they really wanted to succeed last night, and I think that's what carried them through in the end.
And Boudreau on today's opponent, the struggling Detroit Red Wings, who come in 16, 23, and 7.
Boy, if we start worrying about those things, they're professional. We know that all you have to do is look at the standings in the morning, that we're not sitting where Tampa is. So we know we're going to have to play a tough game again tomorrow.
Wild and the Red Wings, 6:30, well, we won't have the game, but 7 o'clock face-off in St. Paul. Still not used to the Red Wings being in the Eastern Conference. Just throws me off.
Yeah, well, that's where they should be. They're in the Eastern time zone.
And on our broadcast schedule, today we have Gopher men's basketball. As you mentioned, early start. 11 o'clock pregame, 11:30 tip against Rutgers. And tonight it'll be the Timberwolves taking on New Orleans. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. No sports tomorrow. Wild hockey back on the air Monday night against Philly. And yeah, I guess that about does it. No Rapids hockey this weekend on the Thunder, and that'll do it.
I have a weekend off of sports after right now. Isn't that amazing?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to go spearing for the first time ever.
All right.
I've never done it before. I'm looking forward to this afternoon.
Well, good luck to you. And thanks again to Grand Rapids Wrestling for stopping in earlier, and to Deer River Boys Basketball as well. And that'll about do it here for today's episode. Sheldon, we'll chat next week here on the show.
I'll be here.
And big thanks, as always, to the sponsors of the Sports Issue. Northern Pines Orthopedic Clinic, Woodland Bank, Donlinger Ford, Anderson Glass, and Super One Foods. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here on the Sports Issue. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll do this all again next Saturday morning from 8 to 10. The Sports Issue, KUZY.